what I'm going to build on, you hear Bodong earlier talk about knowledge building principles and the wonderful work that Lydia is doing in university in Toronto, linking up the classroom and allowing students to see the deep connection between the ideas, because that's where they think harder, that's where they inquire further, right? So Katherine and I are going to walk through a couple of examples of the work of knowledge building in Singapore. Just a little bit background, our research has been on developing learning analytics, multimodal learning analytics, and you can see the second pillar of our work is actually bringing students to NIE. And this becomes a living lab, a test bed, and you can see that a lot of our AI-related work are co-designed with students as they endeavor in this knowledge building environment that we design in NIE. And later on, Katherine will talk about this in one of her work in AI Hackathon. And of course, the third pillar is the impact and outreach that we have continually connecting with teachers. And this has allowed us to understand AI in the classroom. So later on, Katherine will also talk about a piece of work Fair brought in collaboration with the teachers. So just to build on a little bit, I won't go into the detail, but really when we talk about knowledge building, we talk about the pedagogy, we talk about the principle, and we talk about the technology. So a quick glance, you can find these 12 principles: real idea, authentic problem, student asking questions that they really cares about. Just like what Bodong talked about. Okay, the next slide, I'm going to show you that when we talk about inquiry-based learning, when we talk about 21CC, it is very good basis for us to help teachers think about meaningful interaction. But I think the knowledge building principles really help teachers rationalize with a different epistemic frame. So for example, if you want students to ask questions that they really care about, and that pushes the sparking curiosity, right? Because that's where you get inquiry to sustain. And the middle part, like what Lydia was making us think, like how do you assess, how do you know students are really knowledge building? And these are the things that you will hear in your classroom. I really want to know about this topic. Like I believe the big issue is, I think when as teachers, those teachers among us, if you are in a classroom interacting using AI in your inquiry process, you should actually continue to hear students saying this, because then you know that the AI is not giving your students answer, right? So just some framing, especially just now you can see the epistemic agency, like the black box. We don't want to take that agency from the students, and that's very important. But how do we continually help teachers to rationalize that as they are integrating AI? So this is another one, some of the things that you should be hearing students, whether interacting with their peers or AI. Now, with the principles set the epistemic frame for us to think about our practice, then we have actually a pedagogical model that we use. And you can see that I won't go through the detail of it. The center of it is, again, the purpose of learning. So if you can see just now, navigating diverse idea, having students, a very important 21st century competency is for them to thrive in a world of idea, right? There's so many ideas. How do you thrive in that environment? So Lydia has shown some work on Knowledge Forum, but Knowledge Forum really, that multiple paths of inquiry is actually a very natural environment for students to need to exercise their decision-making in an ambiguous and uncertain environment. So the next one will show you a chatbot that we have integrated. Actually, this is work together with Albany University and University of Toronto that has been integrated into KF, Knowledge Forum. So the Knowledge Forum is where the ideas of students are really put up. And the built on, just now you see part of Lydia's work. And what we have done is actually integrated a chatbot into it. But a chatbot, a lot of teachers are worried that the student cannot start KB knowledge building. So the chatbot is designed to support them to start. Like, do you need a sentence? Let's do it. But the idea of this seamless integration of the environment is important because the chatbot is helping the students going back to the knowledge building process and asking questions, right? The second part of the chatbot is interesting because it allows us to copy and paste the idea that has been really in this messy world, but it's okay. Part of navigating messiness is important. Drag it into a chatbot, get the chatbot to give you some key ideas, but you don't stop there. You return to KB and you talk more about the idea. So, building on what has been said earlier, This is the kind of environment we really want students to navigate as they interact with AI, interact with their friends, and focusing on idea improvement process. So I'm going to stop here and invite Katherine to talk about the second and third case that we are doing in Singapore.
Thank you, Julie. So in the last 5 minutes, I would like to share 2 projects that we collaborated with local institutions. Case 2 is FairBot. So FairBot is a chatbot that is supported by a large language model in supporting students' subject learning, especially in science and Chinese. So this project, we collaborated with Fairfield Methodist Primary School. So the results has been published in CSCL 2025. So if you're interested, please feel free to check out. So the goal for this project is to cultivate students' subject learning and also metacognitive reflections in Chinese and science classrooms. So we recruited 94 primary 5 students and also co-designed the course with 6 teachers. So it's also guided by the principles that Julie just mentioned. So we also had this FairBot prompt specifically designed for Chinese and also science in experimental designs. So because it's also our teachers' first time to use FairBot in their classroom, so we had several stages to design our course. So including goal setting and arouse students' interest in using FairBot, explore information about the subject topics. So in this case, it's Inuit. And also organize them to read a test and also summarize content and set up FairBot, and eventually let them to chat with FairBot and check their understandings with FairBot. So here I would like to mention that the teachers actually creatively create several prompts for students to interact with the FairBot. For instance, what is their culture, where do they live, so that students feel much easier to interact with FairBot. So the last case that we would like to represent is AI coding hackathon. So like Julie mentioned earlier, this is a living lab, and we collaborated with a local SINDA association. So Singapore Indian Development Association, so they funded this project. So the results of this study also presented AIED 2025, so if you're interested, you can also check this out. So this is a 3-day event that we hosted at NIE, and we recruited 14 students aged from 9 to 15. So I would like to mention that those students are specifically from low SES students, so we want to know how we can help them to close this technology gap. So we integrate some AI chatbots to facilitate students' questions, and also we invited our experts from NIE and also computer science to support their concept learning. And this program is also guided by knowledge building principles. So over the 3 days, you can see that for each of the group, students are able to use AI tools and also concept to create products to solve a real-world problem, from anti-bullying, anti-discrimination, as well as how they can help elder adults from car accidents with machine model products. So with that being said, I think the 3 takeaways from this section is that ChatGPT that integrated in KF6 can help learners to extend questions and refine their theories from one another, and showing how AI can amplify the KB principles and discourse to support deeper collaboration. And the second one from the FairBot prompt design, and also together with teachers' design prompts, also it's useful in supporting students' subject learning, and also guide them to reflect and monitor their thinking and engage in inquiry learning. So the last one, AI coding hackathon, you can see how that shows AI principles combined with AI tools enable youth, especially from low SS backgrounds, to collaboratively design AI solutions for authentic community problems while developing their AI literacy. So with that being said, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.